Hello, and welcome back to another episode of To the Magic and Beyond. My name is Jordan, and I am here with my co-host, Michelle.
Howdy.
And we are bringing in our producers again on this episode today. If they want to chime in here and there, you might hear them in the background, just because it's always nice to have some extra expertise.
Yeah, because sometimes I get it wrong.
But today we are going to talk about an episode or a subject that I would say Michelle may not call herself this, but I deem that she is the rope drop queen. She is definitely a professional, your go-to gal if you want to know anything about rope dropping. And some of you may be like, what in the world is rope dropping? That's what we're here to tell you today.
Yeah. Rope drop 101 / early entry.
Yes, it changes all the time, as you just found out, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
Exactly.
But why don't you go ahead and just start off by kind of telling everybody what is rope drop?
Sure.
And go from there.
So for people that have been going to Disney for a long, long time, like us, rope drop is something that goes way back, right? Because the parks, number one, a long time ago, did not have any kind of early entry.
Yeah.
It was show up, get in line.
When it opens.
Here's when it opens. And then Disney would decide when folks were coming through the turnstiles, and then you needed a plan, and there's this mass group of people that are moving very quickly, a mob that's going to, the most important things, right? And so the idea is with rope drop is that you're going to get in line for something early. So it's getting in line to save time in line, but you're still in a line.
Yeah.
And so as our friends that just went with us, my friend Becca, I know on this past trip, she was like, look, I know you like it. She's like, but I just think rope drop is dumb.
Because it's
She's
not
like,
for everybody.
She's like, I just don't see the point. Now, she's not a big rider. Like, there's a lot of things that, like, she didn't ride as soon as we got there, right?
Yeah.
Because there's stuff that she can't ride for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And so, I get it. And she's got littles, right? And so that kind of thing. So, but yeah, so you're going to get in line. And then there's something called early entry. Early entry is special for people who stay on Disney property.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're staying in one of either an all-star or a deluxe or a moderate or a DVC,
Yep.
or even a good neighbor,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know how many of those there are. You probably have a better idea.
Yeah. It
Still
just
several,
depends.
right?
Yeah.
That actually get those perks, right? So now in 2025, every Disney park, every single day, has 30 minutes of early entry before the park opens.
For resort guests.
For resort guests only. And you are not tricking the system. You are welcome to get there when I get there. But you are going to have to scan your ticket or your Magic Band in order to get into the area for early entry.
They'll generally, most of the parks will have a holding, what I say is like a holding area for non-resort guests. You can come in. A lot of times there'll be gift shops open maybe that you can wander around in, coffee. But there's going to be a certain point in the park where if you're not a resort guest, they won't let you pass. And the way they kind of police that is you do have to scan your Magic Band or your phone, whatever you're using as your ticket that shows that you are linked to a Disney resort.
Exactly. And so whereas it has changed a little, very recently, actually, while I was on this last trip, Magic Kingdom has changed their early entry. But just let's just go through though a little bit of what we would expect at Magic Kingdom, right? So today, if we were going and we were going to do early entry, we would show up to the park, and let me say this. Early entry only makes sense if you're at the front of the line.
Yeah.
Whatever line that is.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to make it, I think you and I talked about a trip that you guys had where you got there and you really were at the end of it.
Yeah, we were like, there was a bus issue. So we did have good intentions.
Right.
But there was a bus issue, which sometimes happens.
Sure does.
Put on your patience pants.
That's it.
And we ended up getting to the park like maybe 10 minutes before like the actual park opened. So the last 10 minutes of the early entry, and then they decided to let to let everyone in earlier than expected.
Which
like
then you didn't even get your 10 minutes.
Well, we were like right in front of the line, and they let them go. And like we brought our parents for the first time. My husband's parents were there for the first time. My parents were there for the first time in a while, and like just this mob unleashed towards us.
We got about 5 steps beyond the rope, beyond the people that were being held. It was like 8:57, so we still had 3 minutes left of early entry, and they just let them in. And we were like 5 steps in front of them, so we just ran
to the first ride to get out of the way. So they
went to the mall.
If you're if you're at the end of it, you're not really really not doing it right.
So now at Magic Kingdom, let's talk about the important things that have changed. So most importantly, there are no more virtual queues.
Yes.
So Tiana's,
you gotta wait in the line or pay for that lightning lane.
You're either gonna have a lightning lane, you're gonna have an ILL, or you're gonna wait in line. That's it, right? And so you just need to know that going in. The other thing to know is that for early entry, all parts of the park are not open.
Yes.
For rides. Now, that said, at Magic Kingdom, they are allowing now kind of what's been happening at Hollywood Studios for quite some time. Instead of having that holding area that you were talking about, they're going to let people go to whatever their favorite ride is, whether they're a resort guest or not, and they're going to go ahead and get in line. And I'm sure people are like, well, that's just completely messing up early entry.
Right.
Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
So, no, it's not. Because what's going to happen is let's say Jungle Cruise is nostalgic. I know a ton of people. They got to ride it every time they go. The jokes don't change. But they're riding it every time, right? Because it's nostalgic. They love it. Okay, so it's not open during early entry. So what these folks will do is they're going to go directly, and they can go ahead and queue. Get in line.
Get in line for the line.
Jungle Cruise. And they're going to wait for 30 minutes. Because those rides are not going to start until the park opens unless you get pixie dusted.
Right.
And they start them 5 minutes early. They also could start them 15 minutes
delayed. Yeah.
So you need to be prepared for that. I believe I told a Slinky Dog story at some point. And if I haven't, I'll get to it. But yeah, delayed opening are dreaded words. But
yes.
But so the non-resort guests can go do that. An early entry guest can go get in line for that as well.
If they want to. Yeah.
Like you're using I don't know why you would. That makes 0 sense to me.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what you could do. So at Magic Kingdom, you're going to have Fantasyland and you're going to have Tomorrowland that are open
for
early entry. You're still going to scan with your Magic Band or your ticket. They kind of do that over to the right of the hub, like you're going to go to Tomorrowland, right? And then when you get over there, you're going to kind of be between Cosmic Rays and the Cheshire Cafe, where there's a great cattail if you're into that. It's a great little pastry. But anyhow, so then instead of lining up at the rope there, which is what we used to do, physical rope, cast members had it, and now there's going to be nothing because you've come over the bridge. They're going to you just go.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go ahead and get in line somewhere. So over in Tomorrowland, everything in Tomorrowland is probably going to be running.
Right.
Except maybe our favorite show, the Carousel of Progress.
Yes.
It's probably not going to be running right away. And Tron is going to be hit or miss.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the day for that one.
It's going to depend on the day. It's going to depend on the testing that they do that morning. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It also could just depend on Disney wants to route you to a different ride. They're expecting certain crowd levels.
Yeah.
And they're going to
push it to
a delayed opening. And if you can't ride that and you've walked, and please understand, they're not going to tell you that up front.
Yeah. Once you get back to the ride is when you will find out.
And that is a long walk and uphill when you finally get over there, right? So, but those are the things. Space Mountain is super popular at early entry.
Yeah.
And then if you've got littles that aren't big enough for that kind of stuff, you've got Buzz Lightyear over there, the Tomorrowland Speedway, which can get long.
Yeah.
And hot.
Yes, there's
a
very
hot line.
little shade in that line.
Yeah, it's a hot line. And then, what is it? The orbiter.
Astro Orbiter.
Astro Orbiter. I've only ridden it like twice.
It also has a weirdly long line.
It has a weirdly long line, and it's essentially Dumbo.
It takes a while.
It's spaceships, and they do go faster.
They do, yeah.
And so
if
you
a
get
faster
sick,
version of Dumbo.
Yeah, like if you get a little motion sick or going in circles like on the teacups, I advise don't ride it. My dad was really green when he got off that one when we rode it last.
You'll feel it on that one for sure.
So then as you're coming around to Fantasyland, which is the other part that's open, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, super popular.
That's the popular one.
It. If you either to ride that, you're either going to wait in line, probably 50 minutes to an hour and 10 on a busy day, or you can rope drop it, or this early entry process, right? So you're just going to go straight there and get in line, right? Now, our folks that are not part of early entry, that are staying off site, they're not going to be able to get in line in those two areas. Yeah. You're going to get in line for something in another area. Yeah. Because that's specifically reserved for early entry, right? So that's how they're going to police that kind of sort of. While we were there recently, we were not at the front. We had a ticket malfunction. We had to fix that. Our friends waited on us. So we ended up in line for Peter Pan outside of the queue, all the way wrapped around by the Tangled restrooms. Yeah. So during that early entry, it took 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not terrible for Peter Pan.
To do Peter Pan.
Yeah.
When you look at Peter Pan can have a 70-minute wait.
Yeah.
And that's not unusual.
They didn't actually open the queue.
I was going to say that.
They have you line up outside the queue for early entry.
But we walked through it.
Yeah.
We did walk through it once they opened it.
Right. So you still have to walk through it, and it's really long.
Yeah.
Like walking through the Peter Pan queue.
It winds.
is very, very long.
Yes.
And for those of us that usually do a lightning lane for it, the lightning lane, you kind of get in line and you loop-de-loo a couple of times and boom, you're on your little boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's neat. It's really cute, but it's a really long queue. So when they wrapped you around and then you have to walk all the way through the queue
a lot of moving.
I don't think we ever stopped. Well, we did a little, but not long.
Which is kind of the best kind of queue, though, when you're constantly moving. You're not thinking about how long you're waiting.
It's kind of like, I would only compare it to Pirates.
Yeah.
You know how Pirates is really, and I guess Voyage of the Little Mermaid, because that's kind of long and windy, although it's still shorter, I think, than Peter Pan and Pirates, but it still goes down through there.
But that's kind of what we're saying. We're like, you're basically getting in line to get in line. They don't open, they're not going to, they're letting you go back there to get in line for the queue, but you're still going to wait till that 30 minutes beforehand, more than likely, before they actually open the physical queue for you to walk through.
And as an early entry guest, I would say, I think Courtney had said this when we were doing some show prep, 2 is probably very realistic. 2 rides that later would take you possibly 2 hours to ride without a lightning lane. Yeah. Right? Or an ILL.
And that's where to us, for those of us who do like the early entry, it's worth it just to save that hour.
Yeah. So if you're at Magic Kingdom, early entry, best rides to choose, I would not choose Tron. That is me, Michelle Reagan. I am completely okay paying $20 to ride it. It's vacation. They're going to get my $20 anyway. They might as well get it for me to ride Tron. So I'm going to purchase that. Space Mountain's a good one. If that's your jam. It's not mine, but if it's yours, you should do that. Peter Pan is a good choice. Seven Dwarfs is just really, Mine Train is what you want to do.
There's a lot of ways you can do it.
I have done Mine Train where I was in the first car on the first train.
Dedication.
Okay. And that was worth it.
Yeah.
I was on and off in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Like we were like the rope dropped. We were in line. We rode. I think that's only happened, Courtney, once that we did it that fast.
Yeah, I feel like these days they're always delaying that one.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So like you hurried up to get over there and stand for 20 minutes to do your 10-minute ride. Yeah. So all of early entry, if you're going to do Mine Train, you just need to know that most likely that's it. But you didn't pay for it.
Right.
And right now, I think Jordan, I'm seeing but maybe $12 on that one.
Yeah, that
somewhere
one's
around
not as
11
bad
to
as some
15,
of the others.
something like that.
Because with Magic Kingdom, you have 2 opportunities for an individual lightning lane to pay. You've got Tron or that one. So I think because it ends up splitting a lot of people, they do one or the other.
Yep.
Neither one of those are as bad as like Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And so then Mine Train and then Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Peter Pan is either beloved to you or it's I just don't care.
Yeah.
For me, it's not Magic Kingdom if I don't ride it at least once. I could ride it at least twice. My family is a once.
I love that.
You love that ride?
I ride it twice.
You would ride it twice?
I would ride it twice.
But would you ride it twice if you had to give up Space Mountain to ride it twice?
Ooh. The hard question.
That's a hard question.
It'd be a no. It'd be a no. And then so for us, we did 2. Okay. With the change, I knew the change was happening, but I really didn't know what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
And I got a front row seat, and
you
then
guys
we
did
were in
get
the back.
delayed. So
we had the problem like you talked about with the bus.
Yep.
And I wasn't mad because I had my patient pants.
Yep.
And it's okay. I mean, I knew I would definitely say I was a little sad while I was at the ticket booth. I was watching all the people go past me.
Looking over.
And I know I was looking forlorn. And the little guy was typing so fast and he was trying. And I just kept looking forlorn. But I didn't get pixie dusted, guys. Yeah. I had to go through the turnstiles. I think I even waited for somebody
to get their van.
Whose stuff wouldn't work.
Oh, no.
And then, got through.
Yeah.
But we still did. So we did Peter Pan. We got out with 10 minutes to spare. And then we went to Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a classic and I love it.
What are the times? Is it the same every day?
Yes.
For Magic
30
Kingdom,
minutes.
Say?
Well,
like so at 8:30, 9. Do you know what the time is?
Sometimes it changes.
Magic Kingdom, their hours change. And if I had to say whose hours change the most,
it's Magic.
It's Magic.
Yeah.
And so, but it's always early entry is always 30 minutes before the scheduled park opening.
Right. So the point of rope drop for you is just throw a time out there. Early entry is.
Oh, for me, I'm going to get to the bus.
Yeah.
If the park opens, if the early entry starts at 8:30, I'm walking out of my hotel room by 10 till 7 o'clock to get to the bus.
Yeah.
To ride the bus over to get to get to the rope to get in at 8:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long. And so hence my friend is like, this is crazy. Of course, she's got 2 little
kids,
right?
Yeah.
She's got a 2 and a 3-year-old.
It's a lot easier
because if you get
when
there
you're
at
an
8:30, if you get there at 8:30, you're not on the rope. You're not up front with all the other rope drop.
No,
guests.
if you get there at 8:30, you should have just waited and came at 10.
Right. So the point is, get there even before the early entry rope drops.
Yeah, like if you're not, like if you're one of those people that's like, it just, we'll get there if we make it, like you're just, it's almost miserable because it's this huge rush of people that later you could just walk through the turnstiles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With
calmly.
just a few people there calmly instead of being with me going speed walk, speed walk, speed walk.
Mom's goal for early entry is to catch that first bus.
Yeah.
I want to be on the first to every part. Want to be
She's
on the
rope drop queen.
So you drop the rope at the bus stop.
Yes.
If there was a rope at the bus stop, you're dropping
She's
that
rope
one.
dropping the bus.
I have rope dropped Animal
Rope
Kingdom.
drop queen.
Listen, Animal Kingdom is known to open at 7:30 a lot
Yeah.
for early entry. Okay.
No, thank you.
And if you're there in the winter, it's dark. We're at the bus at 6:15. 6 o'clock, 6:15.
Sometimes alone. There's nobody
And we're
else
first.
there.
Which gets you to the park
'Cause we're
at
dedicated.
Oh man,
6:45.
Oh yeah, but Animal Kingdom is known to open
Even
Earlier.
early. They won't start Flight of Passage early.
It's just to get you in there to start
Right.
the queue.
Control the crowd
They're
a
still
little
gonna make
bit.
you wait.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna make that, and I don't ride that right. So here's the crazy part, and this is the part that everyone's gonna say, this makes 0 sense. I can't even ride Flight of Passage, and I still do it. And so, but like I've been there, so Animal Kingdom has not been open at night. Mm-hmm. Goodness. Last time I was there at night was 2016, and it was cool because the trees lit up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Fun fact, if you would like to see Pandora lit up like it's nighttime and the tree rope drop when it opens at 7:30 and like everything's kind of glowing and the lights are on and it's like you're shutting the park down because no one's there.
Right.
Except me. Because I go get a tiger tail.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the difference from there. But just hopping back to Magic Kingdom real quick, 2 rides.
Mm-hmm.
You can get them. We did. We were in line for Pooh. I've done 3 in the 30 minutes. But you're not going to do 3 e-ticket. 3 big ticket items.
Yep.
You're going to get 1 big ticket and at least 1 non-big ticket, right? Yeah. That you probably could get a lightning lane easily for or stand in line for 30 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your goal there. And I think the goal here is people were probably getting hurt.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say when you mentioned sometimes even with Animal Kingdom, they're letting people in earlier. I think anywhere that Disney can avoid kind of that mob of people that we alluded
because
to
people
earlier.
Do not follow rules.
Yeah, you're not supposed to run. But it's just people, they've got their plans, right? They're ready. Yep. They want to execute it. And so some people just it gets a little carried away and people do get hurt. And so I think part of that change, especially with Magic Kingdom, of no longer having those kind of 2 funnels over to Fantasyland or Tomorrowland where they held you at the rope and then they let it go at 8:30 and everyone's running to get back to Mine Train or running to get over to Tron.
Exactly.
Whereas with this new way that they're doing it at Magic Kingdom, you're still going to have an initial rush of people anywhere whenever that first opening is.
Yes.
But I think their goal is to kind of calm down.
Well, to calm
the
things
mad
down,
dash.
and then I think it's getting traffic kind of diverted, right?
Yeah.
In a traffic
spreading
jam.
it out.
And just real quick, let me just remind everybody that there's a show at the castle.
Yeah, to open it up for the day.
That opens it up for the day. It's really cute. The Fab Five is at least out there. Sometimes like Tiana characters, right? It kind of varies.
Pyrotechnics going
you got
on.
It, and that kind of thing. And I still miss. There used to be, and that was one of the other reasons people used to do the classic rope drop. Is there used to be a show
right
out front, very brief with the train and some classic characters and some different things, people in like antebellum dresses, and it was just really cute, and that's been gone since COVID. It's probably not coming. That's probably not coming back, especially since they've changed this procedure.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to change.
They don't want you to wait up there anymore.
And if you go to and they're the only ones with a show that open the park.
Yeah, everyone else is just
nothing
special.
Nothing special's happening. Just go ahead and go get in line or get a coffee, make up.
Yeah.
So then Hollywood, same procedure. There is no rope anymore. They're gonna walk. Everybody gets to come down Hollywood Boulevard and all that, and they're gonna scan you, make sure that you're available for early entry.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you can go get in line for something else.
Yeah.
And so what you're not, so it's different at Hollywood because it's not sectioned off.
Yeah.
So Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster
are kind of on one side.
I've been to Disney, 4 times in the last 18 months, maybe less than that. And I can tell you that Rock and Roller Coaster has not been available during early entry, not once.
Yeah.
Since it came back from refurbishment. And it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be on purpose.
Right.
It can't possibly have been refurbished and have issues.
Right. We would hope.
So, you're going to get Tower of Terror, and then you're going to walk all the way down there. There's 2 rides there. You're only going to get 1. You're going to have to come back up and go a different direction. Some people go directly to Rise.
That's usually our choice.
And then, and you risk, because it does sometimes have.
Yes, sometimes Rise will be a delayed open, but that's one for our family where, like, I think on average, the individual lightning lane for that is like $22, which is like the cost of the whole lightning lane for like the regular lightning lane. And so for us, that's one that we're like, we love that ride and we want to go on it, but we'd rather try to early entry that one.
Because, I mean, $44 buys a shirt.
Right.
And a nice one.
Yes.
Not just a t-shirt, but like a nice shirt. But
and Logan very lovingly has joined me on my Disney obsession and comes with me, but he would also like to save money where we can. So that's our chosen.
But we have to ride that ride.
Yes.
Like, that's a must.
Yes.
And
try
rather than paying for it or standing in a standby of 120 minutes.
Yeah, that's
we will
usually
go
our
to that,
chosen.
and unless you get distracted by Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, yes, I did get distracted by them.
On the way to that during earlier.
But it was worth it. I got my picture with them, so it was fine.
Yeah, and we did not see them this last time. Like, we didn't see anything. Nobody was walking around.
Yeah.
We weren't really in Star Wars land.
We just
Very
went over
much
to do
long.
the 2 rides.
Shame.
Yeah.
Out.
I
Yeah.
I
That's
have
right.
spent time over there in the past.
Like, I met
This
R2
particular trip.
Wasn't the goal.
Listen, you want to talk about geeking out? They were on the new one. I don't ride it. The Star Cruiser. What is it?
Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
So Courtney and Katie were over there. This has been several years ago because all of that was real new.
Mm-hmm.
And I was out doing what I do while they're riding a ride I can't ride, which is wandering around looking
Yeah.
at things. And I walk into this gift shop, and right there in front of me is R2D2. And at first I thought, well, that's a cool model.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because
that's a
it was
cool
right
prop.
there near Savi's workshop.
Yeah.
But
like
it was
legit
over
merchandise, right?
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I wonder how expensive
I wonder
that
what
is.
Danny would say if I bought that and brought. How much would that cost to ship home? But because I'm an original Star Wars kid, so like I'm over there and I go over to start looking at it, and he starts talking
Oh, wow.
and he starts moving around, and so I had my selfie with R2,
That's
and then they got
awesome.
off, and I was like, "You've got to come see R2D2," and so I took them in there. But
Oh.
yeah, so there you've got Slinky Dog, which can be delayed.
Yep.
Mickey and Minnie's is open during early
Yeah.
Runaway Railway, which is really cute, and I love it. And then Rise, and then Hollywood Tower of Terror. So you've really got about 4 choices there. Not to say that, well, I mean, to be honest, in Toy Story Land, like, there's a good chance the Alien Saucers will be running and Toy Story Mania.
Mania.
I just, those aren't the e-tickets. So a lot of times what they'll do, Slinky Dog will be
Delay
delayed, and they'll
Slinky.
say, please go ride Toy Story Mania. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I have a lightning lane later.
Right.
And I don't want to waste this over here on the
Yeah.
Alien Saucers.
They
So
really throw you off with those delayed openings.
they do. So, one or two key items that are going to get you in there. It really is what you make of it. If you're not going to do it, if you're not going to get up and you're not going to be on those first buses, and you're a sleep in kind of person, I would say stack your lightning lanes.
Yep.
I'm sure we're going to do some lightning lane chats later, but if you're going to pay for that,
Yeah.
you already have 3.
Right.
So you can continue to move those times out on
Yeah.
those a little bit and play with them, and then stack you some rides up for later when you're there. And I've done that, and that feels really cool too,
Yeah.
because you just walk on stuff.
Right.
So if you've got 6 things lined up and you're just boom, 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 like that's a really nice day.
Yes.
Like you feel like you're really living large.
Yeah.
And then Animal Kingdom, we kind of talked about it. Really, it literally is Pandora that's open.
Yep.
You can walk through, I mean, kind of what's left of Animal Kingdom right now. It's kind of sad.
Lots
but,
of construction.
but you can get anywhere you want to, but nothing's going to be open, right? Until the park opens.
Yeah.
So I typically grab a coffee while they're on Flight of Passage and kind of move around and just kind of take some pictures and look at things and that kind of thing. And then Epcot is an interesting early entry option because it's so big.
Yes.
There's no way not to walk.
so much walking.
You're gonna have shin splints,
Yeah.
probably on that first one. It's
Yeah.
gonna give them to you. If you're with me, you're probably gonna get them. I've given them to myself. Courtney,
It's terrible.
You could just do what we did and get there at 8:57.
Yeah.
And then just go straight to the
Then, yeah.
yeah, go straight to
You
Spaceship
just do,
Earth.
straight to Spaceship Earth.
That's what we did our early.
I'm gonna go to Figment. But yeah, so early entry there. They're still doing currently what they've always done, which is if you're doing early entry, they're going to kind of funnel you into this line, and you're going to stand there in a line, and they're going to come by and scan you and kind of work you through. Then you're going to go get in another line after that line for
Yay,
the land that
lines.
you're going to go to. And so most everybody, if you're at the front of the park, you're going to
Frozen.
And if you're at the back of the park and you came in on the Skyliner, you're going to go to
Remy.
That's pretty much it.
Well, now wouldn't they go to Guardians?
Oh, some people
true.
can.
Would.
Now that it's not a
There's
virtual,
not a virtual queue anymore.
Yep.
So for all the
You're
people
right.
that don't want to pay for Guardians, which runs 18?
It's around the 18-19 range.
Yeah, so for those that are not going to pay for that, they're going to go do that then because that's their chance.
That could
I
be
would put that at the same level as Rise of Resistance.
Yeah, not
as
wanting
far
to
as,
pay.
Not want to pay, but like you
but
absolutely
also don't
want to
wait. It's a must
Yeah, like
do
we've got
ride.
another-
If you want to ride it twice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's Courtney.
Pay for your lightning lane, but
Well,
also
And like we've got our mutual friend James, like he thinks that's the best ride in the world.
Pay for it 50
He
times.
would pay for it
if he
50
could.
times if he could. So he would be I want to ride it twice, but he's also not really an early entry person because they're not morning people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. But
I think he would be a morning person for
Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you come into Epcot, you're going to choose. And I've done it both ways. It's just, your choice. Lightning lanes at Epcot have gotten better because there's a little more to do there now. And I think as they continue, it was really good with when you could do characters.
Yeah.
Too. Like when you could book those. I just think there were so many more lightning lanes.
More options.
But you're definitely going to be in good shape there. So I think that's where I think you just got to choose how you're going to do your trip.
Yeah.
I think you need to figure out what your family is. Right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes people can go around it. For example, my husband, as we all know, he is not a huge Disney fan.
Yeah.
So when he's with me, I plan a little different. It's not that he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it like I like it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like
He doesn't want to
do...
be at Animal Kingdom and when it's dark in the morning.
Correct. He does not want to. It's like I'm going to work to ride a bus.
He has done it, though.
And he's
I'm
done
sure
it.
he has, yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. He loves those rides.
Oh,
he loves Flight of Passage.
So he would
do it for that.
If it was just the four of us going, he would be fine
More
doing
willing.
that because we'd be done at like 2 o'clock.
Yeah, he
and
go
we
take
can go
a
back
nap.
to the resort.
Yeah. And then he can sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you do you, but do take some hints like this, kind of figure out what you're going to want to do.
Yeah. Think about your priorities and what's like when we go, our goal is to go on as many rides as possible. That's what our goal is. It's our challenge every time. For some people, they don't care to do every ride that there is.
Yeah, they're good with missing stuff.
Yeah, early entry or that first rope drop may not be you. Also, I think a lot of times people like to use early entry for pictures, right? Because not as many people are in the parks.
Did. Yeah.
So you can get, with all those classic Disney icons, your park icons, you could use that moment to get pictures when there's not as many people. So you can use it for a lot of things, make it what you want it. We're not always quite as dedicated to it. We like to get there early, make the most of our time, but a lot of times we are the ones there right at the 30 minutes or the 8:57,
That was the bus.
Yeah, that was the bus. But we try to get there at around right at that 30-minute mark is usually our goal because we're not morning people except for Disney. So even early entry sometimes is a struggle. But we try to get there right at that 30, and we still usually get in 1 or 2 in that time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where that second rope drop kind of comes in, right? So that's what a lot of people call that now, early entry being the first one for resort guests.
Yeah.
And then second rope drop is
regular
those lines,
park opening.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you're at Hollywood Studios, you can go get in line for whatever you want to get in line that's not an early entry ride. I mean, I am not breaking rules here, but I have heard that people have gone and gotten in line for Star Wars, Star Tours.
Oh.
Yeah, Star Wars, Star Tours.
Yeah.
And actually rode it. Okay, well, that's because I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't ride it.
Yeah.
Because
it's a shorter line.
It's a shorter line all day, and so they're like,
they're not going to care as much about that one.
No
offense, Star
but
Tours,
like, don't bank on that. Yeah, and don't get mad at people. Yeah, like if you don't, that second rope drop. I talked about that at Magic Kingdom with like Jungle Cruise. You can go get in line for Jungle Cruise, and if that is on, I recommend it.
Yeah.
Another one is Tiana's. Tiana's now you only can do You're only going to stand by. Or a lightning lane. Yeah. And the lightning lanes are going to sell out pretty quick on that one. That's going to be one of your first choices. So, but the line moves. It's built for that.
Yes.
And then
it's the good old days of long some people, Disney queues.
Courtney over here loves Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of her favorites. I
love it, too.
It's down right now for refurbishment.
Yeah, they're making it a smoother track.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be
It's not going to be the wildest ride in the wilderness anymore.
It's going to be the smoothest ride.
I'm a little sad about it, honestly.
But that would be one that on a second rope drop would be worth getting in line, because that line can be atrocious.
Or Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
So if you wanna still get there when the early entry people are getting there, you're still gonna get a leg up. You're gonna get one ride done very quickly, and then move on to another.
Yeah.
So it's really do you, and be happy.
Yeah.
About doing you, and if it goes bad, you'll learn from it, and you'll figure out how you want to do it a little bit different. Yes. I can tell you, a bad day at Disney.
It's still a good day.
It's still a good day, and it's still a better day than being at work.
Yep.
So, you do you, but I hope this helped.
Yeah.
It's a hot topic. I will say, like, I have as many people that like it and are like me and you, because like you said, you're not a morning person, but you want to be there as soon as you can.
I will do it for Disney.
And you're going to stay as long as you can.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're here early entry to the
you're
last
not
people
taking
out
a break.
of the park.
Yeah, you're not taking a break. And all the people I'm going with lately don't take breaks, and they've got littles, because the littles will just fall asleep, and it's a lot of work to get in and out of the park. So, I think these are going to be helpful. It's a good time no matter how you do it.
Yes. Yep. And again, just have your plan going into it. And like we always say, be prepared to pivot though, because stuff changes. Buses run late, tickets don't work, delayed openings, best laid intentions.
Yep.
But the more flexible you can be prepared to be, I think a little bit better those experiences can be as well. So, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated. Of course, like this recent change with Magic Kingdom just happened very recently. Yeah. So if we hear of any new changes or experience any new changes, we'll of course keep you guys updated on anything new. But hopefully this helps a little bit, just kind of break down what rope drop is, what early entry is, give you some ideas of what you can do with it, and just make the most of it, make the most of your time if that's what you want to do.
Absolutely.
That's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you, Logan and Courtney, for jumping in with us a little bit, helping us out. And we will see you guys next time on To the Magic and Beyond.
See you real soon.